There's a strange thing about taking your first cruise on a new cruise line. You can research it, you can watch every YouTube video that you can find, you can read reviews, you can download the app, look at the restaurants, study the ship, and try to understand how everything works. And yet, there are some things you simply cannot know until you actually step on board. That was certainly true for me with Virgin Voyages. There were things I expected that turned out to be different. There were things I worried about that really in the end didn't matter. And there were things I didn't even know to think about because I didn't yet know enough to realize they were questions worth asking. The more I sail with Virgin Voyages, the more I realize that some things simply can't be understood until you've experienced them for yourself. And I've come to appreciate that because the best preparation isn't necessarily knowing everything. Sometimes it's simply knowing what you don't need to worry about. One of the things I wish I had understood before my first Virgin Voyages cruise is that I didn't need to have everything figured out beforehand. There's a natural temptation, especially when you're traveling somewhere new, to try to eliminate uncertainty before you leave home. Where am I going to eat? What should I reserve? What happens when I get on board? Where do I go? What am I supposed to do? And when you're looking at a cruise line that does some things differently from what you may have experienced before, that temptation can be even stronger. But once you're on board, you realize that the ship is not asking you to pass a test. You don't need to know every restaurant. You don't need to understand every space. You don't need to know what every button on the app does. You don't need to know how you're going to spend every moment of your day. You can just simply start walking. You can look around. You can figure things out as you go. And honestly, some of the enjoyment comes from that process of discovery. I wish I'd given myself permission to be a first-time sailor instead of feeling like I needed to arrive already knowing how to do Virgin Voyages. Another thing I didn't fully appreciate before my first sailing was just how much flexibility there would be inside the cruise. You know, when you think about it, a cruise sounds structured. You have a ship, you have a schedule, you have the ports of call, you have restaurants, you have the entertainment. It can sound as though the entire experience is already laid out for you. But once you're on board, you realize that there is a tremendous amount of room between those things. You can make a plan in the morning and change it by lunchtime. You can decide you want to go somewhere and then just completely change your mind. You can sit somewhere much longer than you expected. You can walk around without really having a destination. You can decide that something you thought you wanted to do isn't actually what you wanted to do anymore. And you know what? Nothing terrible happens. Now, that may sound like a small thing, but for someone who is accustomed to traveling with an itinerary or used to traveling around the needs and schedules of other people, that flexibility can feel surprisingly liberating. The ship provides the structure, but you get to decide how much of that structure you actually want to use. I also wish I had understood sooner that having choices doesn't mean you have to make them all. Now, Virgin Voyages offers a lot: restaurants, bars, entertainment, music, activities, deck spaces, pools, fitness, events, places to sit, places to walk, places to simply watch the ocean. And when you're new to a cruise, there can be a subtle feeling that you should experience as much of it as possible. I mean, after all, you're paying for the experience. Why wouldn't you want to get everything out of it? But I've come to think about it differently. The value of a cruise isn't necessarily measured by how many things you manage to check off. Sometimes the thing you remember most is the hour you spent sitting somewhere with a coffee, or the walk you took because you didn't have anywhere else you needed to be, or the decision to skip something because you simply weren't interested that day. One of the things I appreciate about Virgin Voyages is that the choices are there, and they don't have to be obligations. And I think that's an important distinction for a first-time sailor to understand. Dining was one area where I learned something very quickly. All of the dining on Virgin Voyages is included, and that means there is really very little reason not to make reservations at the restaurants you know you want to experience. Before each of my sailings, I have made my brunch and dinner reservations through the app as soon as the reservations opened, and I'm very glad I did. By the time I board the ship, there are usually very few reservations left for the times I might want. Virgin Voyages now, they do hold some reservations until boarding, and there are people available to help you make dining reservations once you are on board. So if you don't reserve everything in advance, you're not necessarily out of options. But personally, I wouldn't recommend waiting. If there's a restaurant you really want to experience or a particular brunch or dinner time that works well for you, reserve it when the reservations open. The reservations, they don't cost you anything. And if your plans change, you can always cancel them. My approach has allowed me to eat at every restaurant I wanted to experience on each of my sailings, both for brunch and for dinner. And I think that's a useful distinction for a first-time sailor. You don't need to overplan every part of your cruise, but when something is free and very popular and easy to reserve in advance, there's really no advantage to waiting until you board. So make the reservations. Then you can always change your mind later. Perhaps the biggest lesson underneath all of this is the difference between having options and having obligations. Virgin Voyages, they give you a lot of options, but those options don't have to dictate your day. And that distinction matters even more when you're traveling alone. When you're traveling with other people, decisions naturally become negotiations. Where should we eat? What should we do? When should we leave? What does everyone want to see? Solo travel removes a lot of those negotiations, but that doesn't mean you need to replace them with a schedule of your own making. You can simply decide and then decide again. That might mean doing something you've been looking forward to, or it might mean doing absolutely nothing for a while. The freedom isn't that everything is available. The freedom is knowing that you get to choose, and you don't have to explain every choice to everyone else. Looking back, I think I expected my first cruise to feel more natural than it actually did. There was a lot to learn. Not necessarily because Virgin Voyages was difficult, it was simply unfamiliar. You have to learn the spaces, you learn where you like to sit, you learn how you like to move through the ship. You discover which restaurants really appeal to you. You begin to recognize the rhythm of your day. And eventually, things that once required thought become almost automatic. That's one of the big differences that I've noticed between my first sailing and the many cruises that followed. The more familiar I became with the ship, the less mental energy I spent figuring out what everything meant. And with each cruising, there are moments when I realize I'm no longer thinking about the mechanics of cruising at all. I'm simply there. I think that's worth remembering if you're preparing for your first Virgin Voyages sailing. You are allowed to be new at it. You don't have to know what you will eventually come to love. You discover that just by being there. As I've spent more time sailing on Virgin Voyages, I think the biggest thing I understand differently is that cruising isn't something you have to conquer. You don't have to maximize it. You don't have to see everything. You don't have to participate in everything. You don't have to come home with a story about every restaurant and every show and every event and every port. You can just simply have a good day. And then another one. Maybe that sounds like a very small lesson, but I think travel has a way of teaching us things that aren't necessarily about travel. For me, the lesson has been about letting experience unfold instead of constantly trying to control it. There is preparation that is useful, and there is preparation that simply creates more things to think about. Virgin Voyages helped me to discover that I could leave some of that behind. I could arrive prepared enough and then let the experience teach me the rest. So, if you're considering your first Virgin Voyages cruise, what would I want you to know? I'd say this: do some preparation. Know where you're going. Take care of the things that genuinely need to be taken care of before you sail. But don't feel like you have to understand the entire experience before you arrive. You don't. Give yourself permission to discover the ship. Give yourself permission to change your plans. Give yourself permission to skip things. Give yourself permission to have an unexpected and wonderful afternoon doing something that you never planned to do. And most importantly, don't measure your cruise by how much you manage to accomplish. The first time that you go sailing, you're learning, and that's okay. You may come home knowing exactly what you want to do different the next time. And that's part of the experience too. Because sometimes the things we learn from traveling aren't the things that we could have discovered before we left. Sometimes you just have to go. I'm Dr. Dan, educator, storyteller, and midlife traveler learning to experience the world a little differently. What started for me as solo cruising has become something much larger. A journey towards traveling with more intention, more curiosity, and a little less pressure to make every moment count. If you're considering Virgin Voyages, thinking about solo travel, or just simply finding your own way through this stage of life, I do hope you'll come along. There are still plenty of places to see, plenty of stories to tell, plenty of time to discover what travel can look like when you don't have to experience it the way everybody else does. If that sounds like your kind of journey, you're welcome to subscribe and join me. I'll see you in the next video.